Hi everyone, I'm Vicky Bullett, and I'm here with Against All Odds.
So we have Vicky Bullett here. Vicky, it's an honor for you to come sit down with us here at Against All Odds today. You mean a lot to the community, especially the girls basketball community. They look up to you. Where did basketball start for you? How old were you? Can you talk a little bit about?
Sure, basketball. I guess I grew up with it in my hand. I grew up with 6 brothers. Started playing in, of course, backyard. From there, didn't really play organized basketball. They didn't have any rec leagues like they do today. And just summer AAU basketball. So I stuck with playing with my brothers. And then of course from there, went to the Boys and Girls Club, but actually it was just the Boys Club then. So I kind of snuck in with my brothers, have an opportunity just to play with them. So kind of got started at 8 years old.
Okay. And so, we talk about your high school career at Martinsburg High School. What was that like for you? Were you like an all-state player every year? Were you just this dominant force that they knew was going to be the next big thing?
Well, not even that. I just played. Didn't know that I had an opportunity to go to school. My brother Don, who was the oldest brother, he started coaching me after he came back from Glenville. So I was going into my junior year, and he couldn't believe how tall I was. So from that day, I had to work. He put me in all kinds of drills. Vicky, got to do this. Vicky, got to do that. And then he also said, Vicky, you got to study. You got to do this. So of course, being that student athlete, you had to live up to in order to take that opportunity. So playing high school ball, I just played. Accolades. If they fail, they fail. I just love the game enough to play with my team, play for my brother, and just play for the high school.
So that's kind of unique, getting to play for your older brother in high school. I don't know too many people that have ever had that.
Well, it wasn't easy. That's the thing.
Yeah, was that?
He didn't. Sometimes when you have your parents, your coaches, they use you to help the team. I ran when they ran. He never made me feel like I was above these young people. I learned to play together regardless of skill. That helped. That helped me grow, because once you get out of high school, you're going to meet one of the best players in every school.
For sure.
So he taught me how to be a team player and how to lean on them. Can't play by yourself. So that was an asset to me. He never belittled me. He got on me just as much as those other kids. So that made me feel a part of the team instead of around the team, because he was my brother. So he didn't treat me any different.
That's good. So, your teams throughout Martinsburg, did you guys get to the state tournament
Actually,
ever?
I think maybe 3 times. Yeah, 3 times out of the 4 years I was at high school. We lost our junior year against Jefferson, who had a really good team. But my freshman year, we made it. My sophomore year, and my senior year, we made it. So, yeah, it was great. But we never got past the first game. You get up there, it's a whole new world.
But where we're from, the Eastern Panhandle.
Just getting there is a blessing.
Getting there is like, we're going to states. You know what I mean?
True.
It's
That's
like
true.
In college, that mid-major small school gets to the national tournament. They're, and all, it's a celebration. So going throughout your high school career, and we talk about the recruiting process, were you heavily recruited throughout high school?
Not at all. We didn't have AAU. I got to play for an AAU team in Morgantown. And then we had to drive around that mountain, which took about 4.5 hours. So my brother Don would travel to Morgantown after school just for me to practice, and we'd come back twice a week. So that gave me a little bit of exposure. We went to Clovis, New Mexico my junior year, and letters started coming in. But I wasn't highly recruited when I was a junior, senior year. But then the beginning of my senior year, I already decided I was going to Maryland. So it was between Maryland and Tennessee. I just wanted to be close to home. So Maryland was the one that I knew. I said, I'm not going to Tennessee. My parents would never see me play. And my dad worked 24/7. So Maryland was a hop, skip, and a jump. Had an opportunity to play early. So I chose Maryland. I always say I chose Maryland. Maryland chose me, and I accepted the offer. So that was wonderful.
That's crazy. Now, do you think, was it your skill level that you weren't heavily recruited, or was it just the location?
I think it's the location. Because, I mean, being a freshman playing on a varsity team is not an easy task. And a lot of young people come in and they have to wait their turn. Mr. Fiery, who was the coach at the time, he's like, no, she's ready. Throw her to the Wolves. And, you know, I was kind of nervous playing with the upperclassmen. But once I got on the court, I said, hey, I can play with these. You know, I've got 3 years. I was 6'3" already as a freshman. So that was it. I just think the location kind of hurt, and the fact that, you know, they don't know who you are until you really play. So I kind of got noticed just being in AAU because coaches didn't come around. I didn't get recruited from West Virginia. I didn't get recruited at Shepherd.
That's crazy.
So I don't know. Not know Mr. Fincham. I'm a hometown girl, and Shepherd's like, we know.
That's crazy. So you went to the University of Maryland. They were in the ACC at the time.
Yes.
And you ended up being the ACC Player of the Year. Can you?
I think twice.
Twice?
Yeah,
Twice.
I think. I'm
My
trying
fault.
to think.
I'm not fact checking.
I'm not even
right.
sure. I don't even know.
Listen, I'm a fan of yours, and
Yeah.
I thought I had it right. She had
and
two
maybe
times.
just once.
Nah,
maybe once. I don't even know.
She didn't play for the accolades. She played because she loved the game. Talk about, was there any struggles coming into your freshman year that you saw?
Well, not really. Just the fact that I was ready over the summer. And the opportunity to play as a freshman was there because they only had 8 players. Didn't have a big recruiting class. They had a lot of issues as I was coming in as a freshman. So it was a rebuilding year. So that's when my brother died. He said, Vicky, listen, Tennessee's got, I don't know, boatload of kids. Never know where you'll fall. You'll go to Maryland and start. So just the struggles of trying to balance school and that level of academic, it was really high. Division I school, I wasn't prepared academically. So, hey, summer school, I said, can I go to summer school before school starts? You know, yeah, sure, come on. So I went before just to get acclimated to the school. And I needed it because I wasn't ready. Take some of the general courses that I needed and then fall into the fall semester. So it worked well. Then every semester I went to summer school because I wasn't planning on failing out of school.
For sure. And, you know, as the season goes on, it gets hectic.
It gets hectic, yeah.
It gets busy. So you've been a starter basically all your life. From high school to college.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times players today, you know, when they've never had that adversity of coming off the bench or fighting for minutes, it goes to their head a little bit sometimes. And the work ethic can be shown too, that, you know, they don't go as hard because they've always been a starter.
Yeah.
How did you always maintain your level of focus and hunger, even though you were a starter throughout your high school?
I just think my work ethic, I watched my brother Don, and he's always the pinpoint of how my work ethic was like his. I wanted to model him. It was just a mirror. Whatever he did, I wanted to do. And he was that example. But you know, when you put yourself on the court, it's competitive. You know, just because you're a freshman, or I went in there with the mentality, yeah, you're a senior, but I'm a freshman. I'm younger, I'm quicker, I'm going to do all I can to play more minutes. And I didn't have that, I'm going to take a back seat because she's a senior. No, didn't do it. I wanted to play early, and I had that opportunity. But like you said, once you get used to playing, every time I got on a court, my spot could be taken anytime.
For sure.
So I had fun doing that. It was competition to get on that court and beat out whoever was there, regardless of what age.
For sure. You know, a lot of times women basketball players, especially at the college level, pros is not always the option like it is for men. When you went into Maryland, was that your goal to go to the WNBA?
Well, actually, they didn't have it when I was in school.
Oh, really?
So in 1997, our goal was to get from college to overseas.
Okay.
Because a lot of the student athletes were doing that. So, of course, you know, wasn't ready to finish playing basketball. That was our only option.
Okay.
So after I graduated from Maryland, I went to Italy and I played. Injuries, I played. And for 15 years, I played overseas until 1997 when they had the birth of the WNBA. So that started kind of late in my career, but you know, it is what it is. So I got to play 3 seasons with the WNBA, considering my age, and yeah, it was fun. So
and overseas is a big thing. Even, you know, the WNBA players now, that's where they play.
Oh yeah.
You know, in their off seasons. So the WNBA wasn't even a thing when you were in college. So overseas was this is where I want to be, and then the WNBA came around. So was it still like the WNBA's here or overseas here? Like where did people want to be?
Yeah, right now, because how much money you were getting overseas, that was the main thing. 8 months out of the year, the stipend that they give, all of the, the little prizes you get with your contract was beneficial. We're not going to make that money just getting a basic job at home. Plus, we're still young. We can still play.
For sure.
So we were promoted to go. And, the fact that you stay in shape, you come back home in the summer, it's just a short period of time, then you just go back overseas. So for 9 years until the WNBA, that's what I did.
Wow.
So, you get a short break, you go right back over.
No, definitely. Had you been out of the country before?
Actually, that was my first. No, actually, we had the Good World Games when I was in college. We went to Malaysia. So I was overseas, but with the team. But staying that period of time in Italy was the first time, yeah.
So when you got to Italy, you just got your own apartment?
Yeah, the only thing I had to do was play basketball.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
They took care of you. You get a house family, you get your stipend sent to home, whatever you want. Mm-hmm. And car, bike, whatever you need.
Oh,
food.
Definitely.
And then you save your money. I played almost 5 years and probably didn't spend any money.
Wow, that's crazy.
That's how well they took care of it and the advantage. But not all of us want to go to Italy, save your money.
For sure.
Louis Vuitton. Vicky, where you send your money? In the bank. I was frugal like my dad, so I was quite smart.
That's not a bad problem.
Yeah, no. If somebody's going to pay everything for me, then y'all going to use your money, not mine.
No, definitely. And being from Martinsburg, and you went to the University of Maryland, which is kind of home to you as well. True. Going to Italy and then overseas, wherever else you went, were you homesick at all?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The first time, and I think it was just because the language barrier would get you not socially involved. Because they laugh, they get like, what are they talking about? That was the hardest thing. So you just push yourself to learn their language. You teach your language to them. And then and it's easy. Because once you recognize the language, basketball has no, it's the same. So once I got that connection and be a part of their family, it was easy. Then it's like, okay, can't wait to go back over. So plus the food was really good.
That's good. That's good. How long was a season for you?
8 months.
8 months of the season.
Months, yeah.
Okay. And then after you would come back and train here, work out here, and then
go back. We had a short break. It depends on how far you land in the playoffs. Sometimes you'll land in the playoffs late and you may rest at home for 2 months and have to go back. Because I've always wanted to go there and make sure I'm a month ahead to train with the team because it's different there. But then when the WNBA started, of course, it was season, WNBA season. I mean, for 6 years I did that. It was exhausting.
That's crazy.
Maybe a week between.
What was the level of competition like compared to playing Division I basketball?
It was big because each team had another, or at least 2 foreign American players on the team. Okay. So they're quality of Italian players or maybe Russian players or Spanish, but they were pretty good. They were all their top elite players. So the league was pretty tough. Got
you. And so then when the WNBA started, so did you get drafted?
Yeah, actually, it was weird how they did it. Actually, some of the players were playing an ABL league, and I didn't even know anything about it because I was always overseas. But then we heard, hey, WNBA's coming. So they had their player rep visit. So she actually came to Italy, and she placed players. So myself and Andrea Stinson, who's from NC State, were placed in North Carolina because we were among the ACC teams. Okay. So they kind of bring, they know ACC players. Let's put all the ACC players at Charlotte. So we were kind of drafted in that way, but it wasn't like today. They don't call your name. Yeah, they just put your name on the list.
Sitting in the room.
Yeah, so we were actually, me and Stinson was probably the first 2 players that were drafted to the WNBA in '97.
Wow. So being in Italy and overseas for that period of time and going to Charlotte, I guess that was, that could technically be home. It's not close to home, but it's closer than Italy. That's crazy. How was your first couple years in WNBA? Did you enjoy it? Did you like it more than being overseas? Or it was awesome?
Just because it's new. And, the fans, to have kids cry because they see you, they don't know you. It's like, oh, why's this kid crying? They want an autograph. Okay, here you go. You don't even know who I am. But it was touching. It really was. And to actually be home and, stand for your national anthem, things like that, it means a lot. But just to have people follow. The first year it was crazy. You just need to be surprised when you go to these venues that are huge, not what we're used to overseas, and have people follow the program.
That's crazy.
It was good.
You talk about stars in professional sports, like LeBron James, my favorite player all the time. That's my GOAT. I always stand on that. But I feel like he carries himself Like, he doesn't see himself as LeBron James. He's just a regular guy. For you, in your playing days, even today, do you feel, I mean, you're a superstar, but do you feel like one?
No.
You don't feel like one?
No.
I love basketball, and I love giving back.
Basketball, community advocate, give back to your community. I think that's what most athletes do in their time. You reap the benefits, you just give it back. But there's no, I mean, I still get it. You know, kids will walk up, but they didn't see me play. It was their parents, but their parents would tell them, hey, you know, she did this, she did this. You know, and visiting schools help too. So no, I don't feel that way. Yeah.
Because, you know, a lot of times when your name is brought up around town, different communities, it's Vicky Bullett. It's never just like Vicky. It's like Vicky Bullett. Like it's it's like that holds weight. That's gotta feel special though. That people bring you up like that. Yeah. You know, first when they bring you up on a first and last name basis, that means you either did something or you got the same name as someone else.
That's true.
Right?
That's true. I agree.
They'll only say that. So that's gotta feel special.
It's honorable. Put it there. It's honorable.
Post playing career, did you get right into coaching?
Actually, let me see. What did I do? I think I took a year off, and I went to South Middle School to teach. I mean, I always wanted to be an educator, but it was a while. I was like, I don't know what I want to do now. What do I do? Do I coach? I was so tired of basketball. It was just crazy. But I think I was tired of it because the travel was so extensive. You know, you live in a suitcase. You know, there was no time to rest for me in those 6 years. But after the WNBA, I did go back overseas for 4 more years. Just didn't play in the WNBA because as I was getting older, you know, they trained twice a day for 2 hours.
Oh, wow.
I was 36, 37 years old. I said, look, I'm going to practice one time, and then I play 40 minutes. Mm-hmm. So I said, I can't do what they're doing now. Mm-hmm. But yeah, coming home, I went right into teaching, didn't want to rest. I coached a middle school team, boys and girls, which was extremely hard because you seem like these kids don't know how to do anything. So you got to bring yourself down to their level so they can, you know, you got to meet them halfway. And it was really hard. It was really hard. And then from there, I went to Hagerstown, and it's just, that's what I did. Getting to coaching, that's what you do.
So, you know, you went from playing at a professional level, being around pros, seeing the pro speeds. So, and you said it was hard coaching middle school, you know, and I feel like it's hard sometimes because you don't know if a kid is giving their full effort or if this is all they can do.
That's
and
all
they're
they
just,
can do.
And that's just their athleticism at the given time. So I guess it was hard, I guess, trying to understand, is this kid giving me everything I have or do I need to rip him some more and, you know, and get him going? So then after Hagerstown, you went to West Virginia Wesleyan?
Yes.
I was living in Buchanan, West Virginia.
It was awful. No, it was I don't know. I was okay, but recruiting was hard. I mean, if any student's going to go to that place because they need isolation and they only need Walmart, it was really hard. You could get good kids, you know, kids that want to study, but okay, we have practice, but I got to go study. What's wrong with you? That was hard for me.
Nah, I feel that.
But, you know, it is what it is. I stuck it out for 5 years, and, you know, after COVID, it was really hard to recruit. It was even hard to recruit kids that were in state to come there because it was just so expensive. But I enjoyed my time. It was a great opportunity. Glad I took advantage of it.
Did you live on, like, near campus? Or
it was about 10 minutes.
10 minutes from campus? Yeah. And so you were there for, what, you said 5 years?
5 years, yeah.
Did you come back to Martinsburg often, or were you like, was Buchanan your summer home? Were you
I went home. Yeah, well, we recruited, so most of the time I was home. But I was full time, so you know we were there during the summer. We did summer camps, but when I could go home, I'd go home. Yeah.
Good. And so Wesleyan's in the MEC, as was was Shepherd.
Well, actually Shepherd was, and then they went to the PSAC.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So what did it feel like coming home to play at Shepherd?
That was fun.
Was it a good experience?
They killed us one time, and we went back and killed them too. And then I got to see my parents. My parents came to the game because I don't think. Well, they saw me coach at Hagerstown. But to come to Shepherd and watch, it was fun. So we got to come, and then they left, of course, got out of PSAC, and then we didn't get to go to Shepherd anymore.
And so that conference is kind of what spread out. You guys got to go to Ohio.
Actually, no, we went to all the West Virginia schools, but what was one in Ohio?
Notre Dame?
Notre Dame, yep, Notre Dame. Urbana, maybe it's Urbana.
Urbana's in there too.
Yeah, but no, they don't have that school anymore. But yeah, those two schools were the only ones that were out of state. So yeah.
What made you resign from Wesleyan?
Well, my parents, my dad, I lost my dad at Christmas. So they were getting older and Dad wasn't doing as well. So, you know, I spent enough time coaching and being away from home. So I said after this year, it was like after COVID, and it was a little scary after COVID, considering the age that they were. So I went home and stayed close to them. But I went straight from there home to the Boys and Girls Club. So I kind of already knew what I wanted to do if I did decide to stop coaching. So the Boys and Girls Club where I started is where I probably pretty much end up.
How has the experience been at the Boys and Girls Club?
Crazy.
It's crazy.
No, I love it. These kids are wonderful. I didn't get to spend a lot of time at the Martinsburg Club because we're short of staff. So I spent a lot of time with Keegan and Kaya. And it was great because it was a small group of kids. And, it's funny because they were there when they were younger. And I'm like, is that you? And I laughed because they were so small. But yeah, being at Jefferson, I couldn't go back to Martinsburg. They said, Vicky, when you come back, it's like, never. I love it here. So I love coming down to this Boys and Girls Club.
So you're at Jefferson now?
No, actually, right now I'm part-time. So
Okay.
because I'm teaching at the high school.
Okay.
Because what am I doing in the morning? There's no kids until they get off. But then after my dad had passed, my mom she's in a lot of need. So after school, I tend to her needs.
Okay.
Until she gets through what she's got to get through. We all go through it when you lose a parent.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
And that says a lot about you.
Yeah.
Just working hard, like you're doing a lot. You know
I
what
know.
I mean?
I'm run down.
And so you started your AAU team this year, Bulletproof. Just came off the first championship last weekend. Congrats on that, by the way. More to come. More to come.
We hope. You keep working with them on the side too, Marcus.
What has that been like for you? Have you started an AAU team before? Is this your first time?
Well, I mean, right now, my vision for this program was kind of related to my brother Scotty, who plays baseball. Scotty's in Canada, and he has a Bulletproof baseball academy.
Okay.
So I said, you know what, Scotty? Let me just take it and tag along and bring it here. We wanted academy because we wanted education. Haven't gotten there yet. So I just picked up a group of kids. I had an opportunity to volunteer at the rec league, and I said, what am I watching? I mean, seriously, what am I watching?
No,
I didn't know what I was watching. And the fact that, bless the volunteers' hearts who are trying to coach, they're coaching their child, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
There's no teaching this child, teaching this child, teaching this child. And just looking at it, they don't have enough time. You got 1 hour, you got maybe 1 or 2 times a week you practice, and then you play on the weekend. That's not enough.
Not enough at all.
So I went to the director, listen, give me the gym, I want it free, I'm not paying, the kids are not paying. Any kids that are in the rec league come to the trainings for free. So the first day I had 30 kids, like I better call some people, come help. And they were coming, and I said, you gotta keep doing this because they're stealing their money because the kids are just
getting up and down.
Yeah, that's it. They don't know, some of the kids don't even know how to run the court or what's offense to defense. And it's embarrassing, it really is. For a program for kids, they just want to play. Well, then go outside and kick the ball.
Yeah.
So I got into it just to see. And we had a team. Fortunately, I had Deja Smith. You know Deja. She was one of the elite players, trying to get her to play with the kids with no experience.
Yeah,
It's hard for her.
That's very hard.
But you know what? She did it. Said, Deja, get them involved because not all coaches are going to recruit a kid who's just a scorer.
Mm-hmm.
How does she relate to her teammates? How does she include her teammates? How does she respond to her? That's what you got to teach the kids. It's not all about scoring baskets and baskets. And she did that. We went undefeated, this team. I had a kid that's probably, didn't know anything from scratch. She scored 4 points in her shift game. She was so excited.
Crazy.
Marcus, she couldn't run back down the court.
I'd be happy for her too. That's crazy.
And and we ended up winning, didn't lose the game because I was working with all of the kids. I mean, they weren't perfect, but they did a lot of good things. So that's the reason why I want to do this. And we only have one team. And I hope, we'll have some younger teams and some older teams. And hopefully they'll
it's
come
going to
and
be a
learn
trend.
from
I already know
I
it.
hope so.
It's going to be a trend.
Yeah.
And this is no knock to anyone doing travel organizations, but to have someone who actually did this at a high level, you know what I mean? And, a lot of people like to talk about and be the best coach ever and they know everything. But to have someone who played the game at a high level and you coached professionally as well.
1 year with the
Mystics, to give back an organization where you're not necessarily saying, I only want these elite players from this area. You're taking a group and you're trying to build it up, like you said, from scratch and build something special to where it's like, wow, Vicky Bullett, former WNBA player, is bringing a team together and she's not even, picking the best. You know what I mean? You're coming together and you're building a a whole academy up
Right,
from scratch.
right.
It's truly special. What has been one of the hardest things with the academy? Has it been, do you have a problem getting girls to buy in all the time? Are the expectations high, like to win tournaments and stuff like that?
The thing with this academy too, I don't plan to travel outside of Martinsburg. Whatever Martinsburg regularly has for these tournaments, that's where we're going. Parents pay, split the cost of the tournament. They're getting free training. The high school is offering me an opportunity to use their facility because I work there. So, and it's for the community of the kids. So there's no pay there. Kids come 2 hours, they practice. Parents are great. I said, parents, now I'm not gonna hold back. You can come watch my practices, but I'm gonna fuss at your child. They, oh, that's like a day I kicked them out of practice.
Yeah.
But we don't wanna waste our time if this is what they wanna do is to get better. Some of these kids may not even play in high school, and
sure.
we don't know.
For sure.
But they're gonna get the best right now. And I don't have bad practices, they do. I'm always
That's
prepared.
something I've never heard of.
I'm
They don't
prepared.
have bad practices.
Yeah, I don't
have bad practices, they do.
Right, so I
Gotcha.
kind of changed, just the mentality, come prepared, be ready. We have a little scout book. Kids never see, write down, what is this? They don't know what a design of practices are or a prep before a game. And we do that. Why do you got to go there early? So we can prepare for the game.
For sure.
You can expose them to that.
For sure.
And then you know what? They have to be students of the game.
For
You
sure.
ask these young ladies how many times they watch girls basketball, they won't tell you.
Not
How
at
can
all.
you play the game and not watch it?
Not at all. Yep.
Yeah, so
Or say
watch it.
you play the game, but how can you say you really love this game
if you don't watch
it?
And then everything you teach, if they watch, oh, Coach Marcus showed me that. Yeah, and LeBron's doing it.
Yep.
Okay, it's the same.
Yep.
It's not going to change the wheel. The sport is the sport. You just got to have the wheel and the kids to absorb, be sponges, and they'll grow. They will
definitely,
grow.
definitely.
They will grow.
And oftentimes when we have sessions and we're warming up, they're doing the jog down, jog back.
Right.
I'm asking, I said, you guys catch that game last night? You know what I mean? They're like,
What?
you know what I mean? I was like, y'all didn't watch that.
Yeah.
March Madness is going crazy
I
right now.
know.
You know what I mean? Florida Atlantic, they're
Yeah.
making some noise this year, and I'm
Kids got to watch it.
definitely have to watch it because I think you can, and not watch it just for highlights,
Right.
and watch
Strategic.
how players move, watch how they
Yeah.
how they cut, how they screen off the ball, the bench reaction to
Right.
when their teammates are doing
Right.
well. You know what I mean? I think that's something that goes unnoticed. How you, like you said before, how you respond when your team's losing,
Yeah.
how your team's down. You know what I mean? I think that's things that a lot of kids don't really take in all
Right.
the time. But I'm glad you're bringing your organization to do that. Do you encourage them to watch basketball?
Oh, yeah,
Do you
all
talk
the
to
time.
them? Catch
We
some games,
have,
stuff like that?
see, with the academy, it's also the teaching point. So they have homework. I had them, the other day to look up, Kathy Parson, who was the first Black female who received a scholarship at the West Virginia University. And then write, 2 things that you thought was impressive. So you teach them those little things, or you give them a quiz. How's the game start? Where's the 3 seconds? And you give them, okay, you map out the court. Okay, what's this position? Because some of the kids don't know that's the elbow. Well, coach, why do you keep saying elbow? Where's the elbow? Like, if it's not here, then you teach them those things. One of our thing is trying to communicate and get out of their comfort zone. You've got a lot of the young girls that I work with. They're in their comfort zone. They won't get out. Like we do the weave drill, and they'll do the weave drill and not say anything. I say, okay, now what's her name? And they can go through a 2 week of practice and not know one of their teammates'
That's
names.
crazy.
I said, you guys, communication. What if you get lost and, and somebody, you need help and you have to reach out. So trying to get the kids to evolve, get out of their comfort zone is important. We've got a young lady that's homeschooled, and we've got kids actually that play softball. Reagan plays softball and, other sports. So out of that, what do you guys do when you're not playing basketball? Those are some of the questions we ask. Write it down. What is it that you like about it? And sometimes I try to make that relation to what else they're doing to basketball. That's how I learned to be a good educator. Well, I'm not great at it, but my sister-in-law always said, well, Vicky, you work hard as an educator. Well, work hard doing lesson plans. It works together.
Oh, for sure.
But just trying to get those kids to see that, like you said, not all of them are going to go play. So which you got to have something to fall back on, just like athletes. You're not going to be a pro. Do you have your education to fall back on? So you kind of use that. My brother used to say, hey, what if you hurt your knee? What do you do this? And and you quit school and you don't have an education. Now you have to pay for it.
For sure.
So
For sure.
some of those things are important. Some of the kids like to do, I want them to do other things. So, team bonding, trying to get to know the kids, we do that too.
Can you talk a little bit about what you see the difference between the grind when you played and then the grind today?
Well, for me, from my experience, like I said, my brother was always that inspiration. You already think about if you got an older brother that's doing that, and I was the only girl, so I was on the side holding the ball. Those pictures you see, you guys gonna let me play? I was always that kid. I was always that kid that plays on the playground, and I never get chosen because I was a girl. So I'm trying to play with the boys. Can I play? Well, okay. I only played because they didn't have enough. Okay, 4. Okay, let Vicky play. That's how I felt. But then, you get in there, then I wasn't able to shoot. So you tell the kids, what? Every opportunity, even though they wouldn't let me shoot, I played good defense. I got the ball. There's other things. So just like you said, growing this academy is essential to me, but it's beneficial to them because if I'm going to lead them, I got to do it the right way. I got to let parents know that they can't interfere with the training that you're trying to set. Because if they do, parents could be the worst for them. Oh, you're the best. I said, yes, she's one of millions. Don would say, no, Vicky's not the best. She's one of a whole bunch of people.
Sure.
There's always someone that's working harder. Oh, I always hate this little quote where they say, oh, she's the first one to get there, the last one to leave. I played for 2 hours. That's it. And then that's it. Because you know what? For 2 hours, I played like it was 4 hours. So I was tired. So when you're tired after 2 hours of training, you go home. That's an advantage, but it's also not good because you got to let your body heal.
Sure.
Some of people put that time in. I put the time in as I got older, but I trained hard for 2 hours. You may have gone just, an hour because you saved yourself because you knew you were going to do suicides at the end.
Sure.
No, you just train hard. So getting that mindset changed for these young kids, it'll help them. Because, my husband always said, you yell so much. I said, but they're listening because the next day they get it and they remember.
For sure.
So I'm not trying to change the culture, just instill that that these kids can. Even the ones that you work with, they're there because they think they can and they will. Because otherwise they wouldn't come to you.
For sure.
And no, they should go to you. They should go to AAU. If I had that, shoot, I'd be in the NBA. Because I had more training, more this, more that. It was all there. I would have played 24/7 if I could.
For sure.
I hunted down gyms.
For sure.
I went to Shepherd in high school, and there was a little light, and I was over shooting, and I heard the athletic. This is a true story. Athletic come and say, "Excuse me, who's down there?" I'm like, "Dang, I got called." And I'm in high school driving to Shepherd because I couldn't find a gym. So I said, "I'm just shooting around." So he came down and he said, "Well, you can't be shooting in the dark," and he cut the lights on for me. I stayed for about 3 hours. Dr. Ganino, I remember he was the AD at the college at the time. So
try to get her out of there.
Yeah, I was trying, but Shepherd didn't recruit me.
Solid.
But those were those days. But
No,
yeah,
for sure.
I want to persevere I already lived my life. I want them to reach their goals.
For sure. So can you talk a little bit about your Olympics experience? I've always heard that you're an Olympian. Can you talk about, are you a gold medalist? Can you talk about how that?
Well, it was my junior year. Usually most of the athletes that play on the Olympic team had already graduated. So I got an invitation my junior year, and I was fortunate enough because Coach Katie Yao was NC State's coach, so we played, so she knew me well. So she said, Coach Weller, get Vicky to try out, just give her some experience. So I didn't go to make the team. I was one of the youngest players. Went there just to get the experience playing against some of the caliber players that had already graduated. So we go, 300 people. I'm like, they gonna pick me for this team. It was hilarious. And then you get in there and your number's like 135. That's what your number is. So you play, you practice, 2 hours in the morning, 2 after lunch, and 2 in the evening. So that summer I trained and trained, so I wouldn't have any issues. And I was in pretty good shape. And this was a whole week. I don't know how we did it, but 3 days a week. And we watched film, and then, they started cutting players as it goes. So Clovis, New Mexico, there, last round. Actually, Coach said, now, Vicky, when you played in ACC, you shot the ball all the time. What's wrong with you? Do you want to make this team? I'm like, yeah. She goes, you better start shooting. I said, well, my brother told me if I play defense, you have no reason to take me out. She goes, true, but we also need you to
we
score.
need to score.
So I went in there and I was locking people down. Not even thinking about, you got to shoot the ball. So I go shoot, of course it worked out. I was probably one of the last players that was picked from the 12th roster, and they took 12 kids, and I was just so elated. You get that feeling like, is this really happening? So you make this team, and actually I was one of the one and only young player that was still in college that made that Olympic team, me and another girl from Tennessee, but I was still younger than she is. And then from there, you just train. You take advantage of the opportunity that you're actually going to the Olympics and compete. But then that was the highest level. There was no other, professional level. That was considered the highest peak of any, athlete's careers to be a part of the Olympics. So that happened in '92. Actually, we lost against the Russians in '92, but, played 2 Olympics, got a gold and bronze. I got to see James Jett in '92, so that was fun.
Jefferson alum.
Yeah, Jefferson alum. And we actually got to see him run. That was
crazy. That's great.
That's at hometown, yeah. But that was great to see him there. And yeah, then from there you just, continue to develop and play as much as you could. And, that Olympics actually pushed me more to playing overseas and getting other opportunities there. But the Olympics it's just something special. And then come home and then they have a big parade and they change the street.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I'm like, what, really, me? I'm dying, it's gonna be still there?
That's crazy.
So it's amazing.
That's crazy. So the Olympic experience, so there were other pros playing in that?
Actually, yeah. We had, 11, me and Bridget had one more year in college. All the rest of the young ladies that were on that team were already playing overseas. Because after college, that's what they did. But we were the 2 collegiate players still playing that made that team.
So how is that still how it works today?
No, they select players now.
Okay.
Because of the WNBA gives them exposure to select top players.
For sure.
See, then we had a tryout. We had to try out both times, 1988 and 92. We had to go to a trial to try out for the team. But then after 92 we lost, then the WNBA started coming around. Then they started selecting players, which I think it's easier. Having a tryout for that intense, and there's so many players, how do you select? So they use the WNBA as a tool to recruit players for the Olympics now.
Okay, wow. So, coming back from, that was your junior season that you went to the Olympics. Mm-hmm. Coming back, into your senior season after showing that you can play with pros, you were like, wow, I'm pretty good. Coming into that senior.
That's the thing. I had a hard time. I really did. I really had a hard time because everybody else treated me like I was elite and I stayed the same. And like some of my family members, you know what, Vicky, you've done all this stuff and you're still the same. And I always say, you know what, if I changed, you wouldn't know who I was.
Yeah. So
I kind of felt out of place because they treated me that way. Like, oh, Vicky's here. I didn't want to be treated that way. I didn't want to be singled out. Oh, Vicky, you don't have to run the day because you played all summer. No, I want to run with the team because then your team treats you that way. And I didn't want to be treated. My coach, I said, listen, you have to treat me like I never made the team because I'm still the same. You guys are changing. And it was really hard my first couple days. I remember coming back from the White House and they had practice and I sat up in the stands. I was ready to go home. I was really ready to go back to I said, I can't do this because they pushed me away in the wrong way. I said, this is not what I want. I wanted to be Vicky like you've known me from my freshman year. So she talked and they apologized. I was like, apologize, I'm still Vicky. Yeah. I had an opportunity, you took advantage, just playing basketball. I didn't, hit the lottery and going to leave.
For sure.
But it was different. I didn't want to be singled out. You know how that can happen, if you've done something really well. And they make you feel that you're above them. My dad he had so many quotes. You're never above someone. You're never below them. You just walk beside them. Mm-hmm. And that's how I kind of wanted them to do, but they didn't. But after a while, we got used to it, and then, teammates came around. And,
no, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. It was hard.
All the things you accomplished, what is the greatest skill, the greatest accolade?
Graduating from the University of Maryland. I just think getting your education was a prestigious work ethic because I've always considered myself a mediocre student. And having that degree meant that I work hard to get it. And kids need to know that. You don't have to be you know, a 4A student, but you can work like a 4A student. Not everybody learns certain ways, and I took my education seriously. Prepared, applied, just was motivated by all the educators are at the school, took advantage of study hall. So when I walked across that stage, that's probably even the most memorable moment. Even winning a gold medal didn't come close to getting my degree from college. So that meant a lot to me.
We want to thank you from Against All Odds,
Yes.
Keegan Clark,
Thank you,
myself,
Keegan.
for taking time out of your
Yeah.
busy week and your day to come in and talk to us.
It's a pleasure.
Hopefully
Pleasure.
to inspire a lot of athletes around the world. Just work hard, be humble.
All right, keep
and
you keep doing what you're doing,
I'm
Marcus.
I'm trying to.
Yeah.
Well, again, thank you.
You're
for
welcome.
getting on
Thanks for
us.
having me.
Yep, no
Hopefully
problem.
we can inspire everybody.
Hey, let's do it. Let's do it.